Imagine this. You're walking down the street, feeling like $1,000,000, or should I say $5,000? Because in your pocket, my friend, could be a penny worth up to $5,000. Yeah, you heard me right. This little 1970 Lincoln penny could pay for your next vacation. Maybe even two. I mean, it's just 1 cent. But turns out this humble penny is a baller. So today, we're diving into why this small copper coin could be your ticket to a big payday. Hey, before you go raiding your piggy bank, let's break down what makes this specific 1970 penny so valuable and how you can spot one of your own. And don't worry, we'll keep it fun, because who says treasure hunting can have a little humor, right? Alright, let's talk about the basics. The D in 1970 stands for Denver Mint, where this coin was struck. Normally, a 1970 penny isn't exactly rare, but there's one big thing to look for: a doubling effect on the date. This error is called a double die obverse. Fancy, right? That's what gives this penny its jaw-dropping value. Now you're gonna need good eyes or a magnifying glass to spot the doubling, because it's sneaky. I once spent half an hour staring at a penny, thinking I had a fortune in my hand, only to realize I was just tired and seeing double. Classic rookie move! Check this out, on the double die, the numbers in the date, especially the 9 and 7, will look kinda like they've been stamped twice. It's subtle but clear once you see it. That's your golden ticket, or should I say copper ticket? Now, how did this happen? Well, sometimes during minting the die, the thing that stamps the coin shifts just a tiny bit between strikes, creating a double image. It's a minting mistake, but lucky for us collectors, it's a very profitable mistake. Okay, so you've checked your pocket change, found a 1970 penny, and the date looks a little funky. What now? How do you know if it's worth that sweet $5,000? Well, first off, not every double die is gonna hit that jackpot amount. The condition of the coin matters. A penny in mint state, meaning it looks almost brand new, shiny, like it was barely touched, can sell for a lot more than a worn-down one. And no, rubbing it on your jeans won't make it mint condition. Trust me, I've tried. Professional grading is key. You can send your coin to a company like PCGS or NGC, and they'll grade it for you. The higher the grade, the higher the value. In fact, one of the highest graded 1970 double die pennies sold for over $5,000 at auction. Imagine that, someone literally paid $5,000 for a penny. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was going through an old jar of coins my grandpa gave me, one of those giant, heavy jars we all have, right? Anyway, I'm halfway through, feeling bored, ready to give up. And then, boom! I found a 1970 penny. My heart literally skipped a beat. I ran to my loop, because, of course, every coin nerd has one handy, and started inspecting it. No doubling. Just a regular penny. But for those few minutes, I was already planning my beach vacation. You know, until reality hit. So maybe I didn't strike it rich that time, but hey, you might have better luck. If you find a 1970 Lincoln penny, flip that bad boy over, check the date for any doubling, and you could be looking at some serious cash. And remember, even if it's not a perfect condition coin, it's still worth getting it checked out. Now, before you run off to rummage through your couch cushions, wait, don't leave yet. If you're into coins or just love the idea of turning pocket change into big bucks, if you love discovering the hidden treasures in your pocket, or just want to know how to make serious cash from coin collecting, you're in the right place. So hit that subscribe button before you miss the next hidden gem in your loose change. Alright, let's dive into this mysterious, valuable coin. Today, we're talking about the 1978 Lincoln 1-cent penny and how it skyrocketed to an insane value of $4.98 million. You might be wondering, why on earth would a regular penny be worth that much? Let me break it down for you. So, first things first. That little letter under the date? That's your mint mark. This one's got a little d, meaning it was minted in Denver. Now, while most 1978 pennies are worth, well, 1 cent, some special ones are worth a fortune. But wait, what makes this one so special? Is it made of gold? Did Lincoln personally touch it? Nah, nothing like that. The value here comes down to two things: rarity and condition. It's like when you're looking for the last slice of pizza at a party. Everyone wants it, but there's only one. Now, let's talk about condition. The grade of your penny is a big deal. The higher the grade, the higher the value. And trust me, you can't just eyeball it. Professionals use a grading system called MS, mint state, where MS 70 is perfect. Think of it like a dating profile picture. We all want that perfect no filters look, but most of our coins are showing a little wear and tear. Back in 1978, these pennies were made out of 95% copper, and believe it or not, copper tends to corrode over time. So, if you've got a penny in near perfect condition, it's like finding a unicorn with a six-pack. Not impossible, but very, very rare. Here's where things get really exciting. One of the reasons this particular penny is worth millions is because it's what's called an error coin 3:17 p.m. October 21st, 2024. Yep, even the mint makes mistakes. And sometimes those mistakes turn into jackpot opportunities. Error coins are basically pennies that didn't turn out the way they were supposed to. Maybe the die was misaligned, or there was some double striking action, or the planchet wasn't right. Whatever happened, the result is a unique coin that collectors are willing to pay insane amounts for. Okay, quick side story. So, one day I'm at my grandma's house, and she's got this huge jar of coins just sitting on a dusty shelf. I thought, hey, maybe I'll score something cool. So, I go through every single penny like a treasure hunter on a mission. And guess what? I found nothing. But the point is, you never know where your fortune could be hiding. That penny you're ignoring might just pay off your mortgage. Now, here's the juicy part. The current market value of this 1978 D penny, one of the rarest ones in almost perfect condition. As of today, it's selling for $4.98 million at auction. That's enough to buy, like 49,800,000 actual pennies, which sounds like a ridiculous flex. But hey, why not? Remember though, not every 1978 D penny is worth that much. Most are still regular, everyday pennies. But if you find one that's in mint condition or has some kind of unique error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So the next time you see a penny, maybe don't just toss it in your change jar. So, what's the moral of the story here? Don't sleep on your spare change, folks. That penny in your pocket could be your ticket to becoming a millionaire. And who doesn't want to say they became rich from a penny? Seriously though, coin collecting can be super fun, and you might just stumble onto something amazing. Alright, that's it for today's treasure hunt. If you're curious about more coins that could be worth way more than you think, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss my next video. Trust me, we're diving into some wild coin values that could blow your mind. And hey, next time you find a penny on the ground, maybe give it a second look. You never know. 1980 Lincoln cent could be worth a mind-blowing $477,000. That's right, folks. A single penny worth nearly $500,000. And no, it's not made of gold or diamonds. In fact, it's a humble, run-of-the-mill copper penny, with a twist. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. Why is it so special? Why is someone willing to pay $477,000 for it? And most importantly, how can you get in on the action? Let's find out. Okay, so let's break this down. First off, you're probably wondering, what's the big deal about a missing mint mark? I mean, pennies are pennies, right? Wrong. Mint marks are those tiny little letters you see on coins that tell you where they were made. P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. But here's the kicker. Pennies made in Philadelphia didn't always get a mint mark. Most coins had them, but Philly got lazy, or maybe they just wanted to keep it mysterious. Who knows? Now, a 1980 Lincoln cent with no mint mark isn't exactly rare. Millions were made. So why did this one sell for $477,000? Because, like all things in life, it's all about condition. And this particular penny was found in perfect condition, graded MS67 Plus by professionals. MS67 Plus, for those who aren't fluent in coin collector lingo, basically means this penny was almost flawless, like it had just rolled off the minting press and skipped the whole being tossed around in pockets and vending machines thing. Think of it as the prom queen of pennies. And collectors, well, they go absolutely wild for these high-grade beauties. I mean, I once found a super shiny penny in my car and thought, this could be my golden ticket. Turns out, it was worth exactly 1 cent. But hey, I keep looking. And trust me, once you hear about these prices, you'll never look at spare change the same way again. So, how can you find one of these valuable pennies? Step 1. Dig through your pockets, your couch cushions, that random jar of change on your dresser. Pennies are everywhere, and you never know, one might just be your jackpot. But remember, it's gotta be in pristine condition. We're talking no scratches, no fingerprints, no evidence it's ever been to Taco Bell pristine. Now, once you find a 1980 no-mint mark penny, the next step is to get it graded. You'll need to send it off to a professional coin grading service. Sure, it's a bit of a hassle, but if you've got one of these hidden gems, it's worth every penny, pun totally intended. Okay, let's take a quick recap. You're looking for a 1980 Lincoln cent with no mint mark. But it's gotta be in immaculate condition. And if you find one? Well, congrats, you're potentially sitting on a gold mine, or, a copper mine worth $477,000. Who knew a simple penny could be worth so much, right? The next time you find change in your pocket, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. That little copper coin could be your ticket to a life-changing payday. And if you don't find the golden, or should I say copper, ticket today, keep checking. It's all about persistence, and hey, you'll never run out of pennies. Yep, I'm talking about a humble, little Lincoln penny. It's not gold, it's not silver, it's copper. Well, mostly copper. But the kicker? This specific 1982 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, could be worth a jaw-dropping $4.6 million. $4.6 million for a penny. That's like turning your piggy bank into a Lamborghini. Today, we're diving into why this 1-cent coin is making millionaires and what makes it so special. Stick around, you're gonna want to check your pockets after this one. So, here's the deal. Back in 1982, the US Mint went through a bit of a penny identity crisis. They decided to change the composition of the penny from mostly copper to mostly zinc. Copper was getting expensive, and the US government was like, you know what? Let's save a few bucks. But here's where it gets juicy. During this transitional year, the Mint made 7 different varieties of pennies. 7. Some were copper, some were zinc, and they had large dates, small dates, you name it. They really mixed things up. I mean, 1982 was the year of bad hair and even worse penny-making decisions. And because they were switching things up so much, some coins slipped through the cracks, literally. That's where our hero of the day comes in, the 1982 no-mint mark, small date copper penny. This penny is like the golden ticket from Willy Wonka. But instead of chocolate, it's all about cold, hard cash. Now, here's what makes this penny so rare. First off, the no mint mark means it was made in Philadelphia. They didn't start putting mint marks on Philly pennies until later, so it's kind of normal not to see a mint mark here. But the kicker is this, it's made of copper, and it's a small date. These small details, pun intended, are what make it one of the rarest pennies out there. Only one of these bad boys has been found so far. 1. That's rarer than finding a parking spot at Costco on a Saturday. So, let's break it down. Why does this penny fetch over $4.6 million at auction? First, it's all about supply and demand, baby. There's one known 1982 no mint mark, small date, copper penny, and coin collectors are willing to drop a fortune to get their hands on it. I mean, imagine being the one who stumbles upon the only other one in existence. That's like finding a treasure chest in your sock drawer. I actually remember when I first got into coin collecting. I'd dump all my spare change on the kitchen table, thinking I was gonna be rich overnight. Spoiler alert, I wasn't. Turns out, I had a lot of 1982 pennies. None of them were the magic one, though. But hey, you never know. The next penny you find in your couch cushions could be the winner. Now, I'm not saying you should go full-on Scrooge McDuck and start swimming in pennies, but you might want to double-check your change jar. Look for 1982 pennies with no mint mark, and make sure it's copper. Quick tip: if you're not sure if it's copper or zinc, grab a kitchen scale. A copper penny should weigh about 3.11 grams, while zinc ones are lighter, around 2.5 grams. If it feels heavy like it's been sneaking extra snacks, you might have a copper one. Asterisk. Imagine this: you've been tossing pennies aside for years, thinking they're worthless. Then, you find a $4.6 million penny. What do you even do with that kind of money? Buy an island? Start a petting zoo? Or, I dunno, pay off your student loans? Okay, so let's talk real numbers here. The last time this rare penny hit the market, it sold for over $4.6 million. Now, you might be thinking, why would anyone spend that much on a penny? Well, for coin collectors, it's about owning a piece of history. It's like the Mona Lisa of pennies. For the rest of us, it's like hitting the lottery without ever buying a ticket. So, here's the takeaway: that pocket change you've been ignoring might just make you richer than your wildest dreams. The 1982 no mint mark copper penny is the unicorn of US coins, and if you ever find one, well, let's just say you're going to need a much bigger piggy bank. Now, before you rush off to check every penny you've ever touched, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm dropping more tips on rare coins, valuable bills, and money-making strategies. Who knows? Next time, we might be talking about that nickel in your back pocket that's worth a fortune. Hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on any cash-filled secrets. Alright folks, stop what you're doing, grab your piggy banks, and start digging through your couch cushions, because you just might be sitting on a gold mine. That's right, a 1984 penny could make you a millionaire. Yep, you heard me. A penny! And not just any penny. I'm talking about the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln cent. Could you imagine turning a 1-cent coin into $4 million? Now that's some serious pocket change. But before you start quitting your day job or calling the bank to see if you can deposit that old jar of pennies, let's dive into the juicy details of this coin and why it's making collectors drool over it. So first things first, what's the deal with this 1984 penny, and why is it worth more than most people's entire retirement fund? In 1984, the US Mint made a bunch of Lincoln pennies. I mean billions of them. Some were minted in Philadelphia, and those pennies usually have no mint mark. So why is this specific penny a hot commodity? Well, here's the kicker: there's a crazy rare error that occurred on a tiny batch of these coins. And by tiny, I mean super rare. The error involves a double die obverse. Now, if you're not a coin geek like me, you're probably thinking, double die who now? Let me explain. See this? It's Lincoln's ear, or should I say ears? Yep, it's doubled. A regular penny has just one ear, but this bad boy right here. 2. That's right, Lincoln's rockin' a little double ear action. The doubling can also show up in his bow tie, his chin, or even the date. So if your penny looks like Honest Abe had a clone malfunction, you might be holding a jackpot. And let me tell you, when coin collectors see that doubling, they don't just get excited, they get really excited. We're talking $4 million excited. Now you're probably thinking, okay, that's cool, but seriously, who's going to pay $4 million for a penny? Like, does Jeff Bezos have a secret penny collection or something? Well, believe it or not, high-end collectors pay big bucks for rare coins, especially when the coin has a unique error like this. There's a market for everything, my friends, and in the world of numismatics, that's coin collecting for us regular folks. Rare pennies like the 1984 no mint mark with that double die error are like unicorns. I mean, you have a better chance of finding Bigfoot having lunch with Elvis in your backyard than stumbling across one of these pennies. But hey, it's still worth checking your spare change, right? So how do you know if your 1984 penny is the one? It's all in the details. Get a magnifying glass or one of those little jeweler's loupes, and carefully examine Lincoln's face. If you spot that doubled ear or anything unusual, you might just have a winner on your hands. And hey, even if you don't find that error, there's no harm in taking a closer look at those old coins collecting dust in your drawer. Actually, quick story, true story. A couple of years ago, I went down a rabbit hole with coin collecting after finding an old jar of pennies in my grandparents' attic. I'm not saying I found a $4 million penny, but I did find a 1943 steel penny, which is still worth a little something, and man, did I feel like I just struck gold. My friends thought I was nuts, but hey, turns out obsessively inspecting every coin you come across can pay off. Well, almost. Okay, so you're probably wondering, what if you do find this elusive penny? First off, don't freak out and spend it on a candy bar or something. You want to get it appraised by a professional. These folks know their stuff, and they can help you figure out if what you have is truly the real deal. You don't want to be that person who almost became a millionaire but accidentally spent their fortune on a vending machine snack. Alright, folks, that's your crash course on the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, and why it could be worth a jaw-dropping $4 million. Can you imagine turning 1 cent into millions? If that doesn't make you want to raid every jar of spare change you've ever seen, I don't know what will. Now, before you rush off to check your penny collection, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got loads more tips on finding rare coins that could put some serious cash in your pocket, and trust me, you won't want to miss out. Hit the notification bell too, so you'll be the first to know when the next big coin tip drops. And hey, leave a comment down below if you've ever found something cool in your change. Let's turn that spare change into serious cash together. Guys, imagine this. You've got a jar full of pennies sitting somewhere, probably collecting dust, right? Now, what if I told you one of those pennies could be worth, drum roll please, $3.5 million? Yes, you heard that right. A single penny worth more than some people's houses. That's right, folks. Today we're talking about the legendary 1990 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that's been making waves in the coin collecting world. And let me tell you, there's a chance you're sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. Buckle up. So, let's get into it. What exactly makes a 1990 penny worth millions? It's all about that mint mark, or rather, the lack of it. Normally, pennies minted in Denver have a little D, and those from Philadelphia are supposed to have nothing, but the catch here is San Francisco pennies. They usually get that fancy S mint mark, right? Well, back in 1990 someone, somewhere in the San Francisco Mint either had a really bad day or just wanted to shake things up because they forgot to stamp the S on some proof pennies. Boom, instant collectible. Now if you're thinking, how do I get my hands on this $3.5 million magic coin? Do I just head to the bank and grab a roll of pennies? Sorry to break it to you, but no. These no-mint mark beauties weren't just tossed into circulation like your everyday pocket change. They were part of special proof sets, meant for collectors. So, unless you're a penny hoarder, the odds are slim. But hey, slim odds are better than no odds, am I right? Remember that story of that lady who found a rare comic book inside the wall of her house renovation? Who's to say you don't have one of these in an old proof set gathering dust in your attic? Stranger things have happened. Like me trying to parallel park. Quick story time. So, I once found a jar of coins in my grandparents' basement. Classic move, right? I thought, wow, I'm about to cash in big. I spent hours going through every penny, nickel, and dime. The excitement was real, folks. Spoiler alert, I found a total of 83 cents of pure, unadulterated disappointment. Turns out my treasure chest was just a bunch of sticky pennies from 1999. But hey, it's all about the thrill of the hunt, right? And that's what I want you to feel today. Maybe your luck is better than mine. Okay, now to the juicy part, the market value. This 1990 no-mint mark penny has been auctioned off for up to $3.5 million. Yep, that's real cash, my friends. Imagine the look on your face when you find out that little penny from a proof set is worth more than your entire retirement plan. You could sell one penny and never have to clip another coupon again. I mean, I love a good coupon, but I think I'd love a $3.5 million payday just a little more. So, what's the takeaway here? It's time to dig through your old proof sets, folks. If you've got a 1990 penny without that San Francisco mint mark, you could be sitting on a gold mine. Or should I say, a copper mine? Seriously though, this just goes to show how something as ordinary as a penny can turn into a life-changing payday. It's like finding treasure in the least expected place. Yes, that's right. You heard me. $3 million. For a penny. We're talking about the famous 1991 Lincoln cent with an O mint mark, and today I'm going to tell you all about how this humble penny became a millionaire, and how you just might have one lying around in your couch cushions. Okay, maybe I'm not great at catching pennies, but you definitely don't want to drop this one if you ever find it. So stick around and let's dive into why this rare penny is making headlines and how you might cash in. Alright, let's start with the basics. Most coins have these tiny little mint marks. It's like their birthplace stamp. Denver? Boom. D. Philadelphia? P. San Francisco? S. But some coins, like the 1991 Lincoln penny, somehow manage to leave the factory without a mint mark. It's like they snuck out the back door. Honestly, it's like the coin equivalent of a kid skipping school without a hall pass. But here's the kicker. Because of that mistake, this penny is super rare. We're talking ultra rare, like finding out your grandma used to date Elvis rare. Now I know what you're thinking. It's a penny! How can it possibly be worth millions? Well, let me tell you a little secret. In the world of coin collecting, it's all about scarcity and condition. The 1991 no mint mark penny is scarce because most of these bad boys have that little mint mark. And if it's in great condition, like shiny and barely circulated, you're looking at some serious dough. In fact, one of these rare pennies was recently valued at $3 million. That's right, more than most people make in their entire lifetime, for a penny. Hey, who knew copper could be so valuable, right? Now, before you go digging through your spare change jar or turning your couch cushions inside out, because let's be real, I'm doing the same thing later, here's what you need to look for. First, make sure it's from 1991. That's our magic year. Next, it's got to have no mint mark, zilch, nada, none. And finally, condition is key. If your penny looks like it's been through a washing machine, the value's not gonna be anywhere near the jackpot. But if you've got a shiny, perfect 1991 penny without a mint mark, well, my friend, you just might be holding onto your ticket to $3 million. Now, I don't know about you, but this makes me seriously rethink all the times I've carelessly tossed pennies into that take a penny, leave a penny tray at gas stations. Can you imagine just leaving $3 million behind? Oof. True story. When I first started looking into rare coins, I became obsessed with checking every penny I touched. One time, I was at a family dinner, and guess what I was doing under the table? Yeah, checking the dates on everyone's change. My uncle thought I had some weird coin fetish. But when I explained I was on the hunt for treasure, they all joined in. Suddenly, the spaghetti was cold, and we were all squinting at pennies like it was pirate gold. Didn't find $1 million penny that day, but hey, the hunt was half the fun. So you never know, maybe your next trip to the grocery store or your next Coinstar dump could turn into $1 million discovery. Stranger things have happened. Alright, folks. Moral of the story? Don't sleep on pennies. They may not seem like much, but a rare one can seriously change your life. And honestly, it's fun to think that hidden treasure could be sitting right in your pocket. 1997 D. Lincoln penny, the one that's probably sitting under your couch right now, could be worth more than your house, by a lot. Today, we're diving deep into this fascinating story of how a penny that we usually don't even bother to pick up became a millionaire's dream. Stick around, because you're not gonna want to miss this one. Now, before you flip over every couch cushion and tear apart your piggy bank, let's chill for a second. I know you're thinking, $2.4 million for a penny? That sounds like one of those things your uncle tells you after a few drinks at Thanksgiving. But this is real. So, how does a simple 1997 D Lincoln penny get this insane price tag? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about the 1997 D Lincoln penny itself. Now, these pennies were minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark, and millions of them were made. So, what makes this one so special? Well, it's all about rarity, errors, and, of course, demand. The secret lies in the minting process. Sometimes, coins are struck with minor errors, like doubling, where certain elements of the design are struck twice. Or sometimes, there's a little flaw in the material. In the case of our Superstar 1997 D penny, it's a super rare minting error. And if there's one thing collectors love, it's an oopsie from the US Mint. Kinda makes you feel like you should be holding on to every messed up thing you own, huh? Now, it's important to note, not every 1997 D penny is a lottery ticket. Trust me, I went through an embarrassing phase where I stared at every penny I found, hoping to find a jackpot. Spoiler alert, I found more pocket lint than I did fortune. But the special one we're talking about has an error so rare that when it was finally discovered, collectors went absolutely bananas for it. And that's where the $2.4 million price tag comes in. So, what exactly is this magic error? Well, it's believed that some of these pennies were struck on the wrong metal planchet, like the ones meant for dimes. Can you imagine? Someone at the mint just casually mixing up the blanks like they're baking cookies and swapping sugar for salt. Now, these kinds of errors can make a coin super valuable because they're incredibly rare. It's like hitting the jackpot in Vegas, except instead of flashing lights and a cocktail, you've got a magnifying glass and a pocket full of pennies. Let me tell you a little story. So, a few months ago, I got really into coin collecting, like obsessively. I was rummaging through rolls of pennies, squinting at them like they were ancient treasure maps. And guess what? I thought I hit gold, found what I was convinced was a rare penny. I mean, I was ready to start shopping for yachts and private islands. Turns out, I had a regular OL penny with some dirt on it. Yeah, lesson learned, not every weird penny is gonna pay off my student loans. But hey, you never know, right? Okay, so now you're probably wondering how you can cash in on this penny frenzy. Well, right now, this rare 1997 D Lincoln penny with the minting error is valued at around $2.4 million. It's important to remember that coin values are all about condition, rarity, and who's buying. Most of your pennies are worth, well, a penny. But hey, a lucky few have found their rare gems and turned them into millions. The market for error coins is booming, so keep your eyes peeled. So if you've got some spare time and a pile of pennies, maybe give them a second look. Who knows, that next Lincoln penny you toss in a jar could be your ticket to millions. But remember, don't go quitting your job just yet, unless you've already got that $2.4 million penny in your pocket. Then, by all means, live your best life. Before you dive into your penny collection, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell. I'm always sharing tips and strategies on finding coins that are worth way more than you'd ever expect. You could learn how to spot a valuable nickel, dime, or even quarters worth thousands. So don't miss out. Let's turn that pocket change into a serious payday. Until next time, keep hunting, keep collecting, and who knows? You might just be the next coin millionaire. Imagine finding a penny in your pocket, and it's worth $3 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $3 million for a single penny. And nope, this isn't Monopoly money we're talking about. It's real. It's legendary. It's the 1952 S Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, and today we're going to dive into what makes this little copper coin a true treasure. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jack, and if you've ever wished your pocket change was a bit more, shall we say, valuable, well, you're in the right place. Today we're talking about one of the most mind-blowing coin stories out there, the 1952 S Mint Mark Lincoln penny, and why one of these bad boys is currently valued at, get this, $3 million. So what makes this penny so special? Let's break it down in plain English. First off, the S Mint mark means this penny was minted in San Francisco, which already makes it somewhat rare. but the real magic comes down to something called condition and rarity. And when you mix those two together, you've got yourself a real-life treasure hunt. Now, not every 1952's penny is worth a fortune. Most of them? Yeah, they're still just worth a penny, or maybe a few bucks if they're in good shape. But here's the kicker. One incredibly well-preserved 1952's penny, a nearly perfect one, graded mint state 67 plus red, which basically means it looks brand spanking new, sold for close to $3 million. That's right, someone cashed in for a retirement fund with a penny. So how does this penny get to be so valuable? It's all about the grading, folks. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, and mint state 67 plus is like getting an 8 plus on your final exam, pretty rare. And the red part? That means the penny's original copper color is still shiny and fresh, like it just rolled out of the mint. Most older pennies turn brown over time, but if you find one with that red, coppery glow, cha-ching. Now I know what you're thinking, but Tom, I have a ton of pennies. Should I start combing through my couch cushions and every jar of spare change in my house? And you know what? Yes. Go for it. You never know what you might find. I actually went through an old jar of coins from my grandma's house last year, and guess what I found? A button. Yeah, not quite $1 million penny, but hey, still sentimental, right? Okay, so maybe I didn't strike it rich, but there are people out there who have. Like the guy who bought that $3 million penny at auction. And guess what? There are still more out there. Some of these coins are sitting in random collections, or in your pocket right now, just waiting to be discovered. Fun fact! The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909, and it was the first U.S. coin to feature a president's face. But the 1952's, because of its rare condition and limited mintage, is considered one of the holy grails of penny collecting. It's like the unicorn of coins except, real. Alright, folks, here's the deal. The chances of finding a $3 million penny? Yeah, they're slim, but they exist. And even if you don't find a fortune in your pocket, collecting coins can still be a super fun hobby. Plus, it's a great way to connect with history and maybe, just maybe, stumble across something amazing. And if you're interested in more tips on coin collecting, how to spot valuable coins, or even how to turn your spare change into a small fortune. What if I told you that a penny, yes, that little coin jingling around in your couch cushions, could be worth $3 million? Yeah, I know. You'd probably be diving into your couch right now, right? Asterisk, don't worry, I'll wait. Okay, welcome back. Let me introduce you to the 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that's shaking up the coin world. Yep, you heard that right. If you happen to have one of these, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. But why is this little penny so special? What makes it worth more than your car, house, or, dare I say, student loans? Stick with me for the next 10 minutes, and we'll get into all the juicy details, including why this coin is so rare and how you could find one hiding in plain sight. Plus, I've got a story about how I almost struck gold, or copper in this case. You're not going to want to miss it. Alright, let's get down to it. So, the 1965 Lincoln penny. It's an everyday-looking coin at first glance. In fact, a lot of people overlook it because it has no mint mark. And here's where things get interesting, for those new to coin collecting or just wondering. What's a mint mark? It's that little letter you usually see on coins. A D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, and sometimes you get nothing. Like zero. Which is exactly what happened in 1965. But here's the kicker, asterisk, that wasn't supposed to happen. You see, in 1965, the US Mint was going through some serious coin chaos. There was a nationwide coin shortage. Yeah, people were hoarding coins like they were the last bags of hot Cheetos on earth. And the government made the decision to remove mint marks from coins for a few years to help fix the situation. They wanted to prevent people from collecting coins based on where they were made. So, no mint marks on pennies, nickels, or dimes from 1965 to 1967. But that's not where the story ends, so you're probably wondering. Why is this coin so rare if all pennies from 1965 don't have a mint mark? Well, here's the deal. There are a few things that set certain 1965 pennies apart from the millions that were produced. It's all about the condition. If your 1965 no mint mark penny is in pristine, mint condition, get it? Mint, then the value skyrockets. You might have seen something like this on Pawn Stars or Antiques Roadshow where they look at a coin under a microscope and go, "Ah yes, this is practically untouched by human hands." That's what collectors are after. Some of these 1965 pennies were struck in error or on the wrong metal planchet. That means they could have features that weren't meant to be there, making them ultra rare. These errors sent collectors into a frenzy. Imagine being that lucky. One of these special pennies was sold at auction for a whopping $3 million. That's right, someone turned a 1-cent coin into a life-changing payday. It's like finding out that old baseball card you've had tucked away is worth enough to buy a Ferrari. Now, before you get too excited, here's how to check if you've got one of these jackpot pennies. First, check the date. It has to be 1965. No other year is going to work for this particular penny magic. Then, check the condition. If your penny looks like it's been through World War III in your pocket, it's probably not worth the big bucks. But if it looks shiny and nearly perfect, asterisk, we're talking potential treasure, and of course, you might want to get a professional coin grader involved at some point. These folks can give you a real estimate of your coin's value. I know. You're probably itching to raid your piggy bank right now. Alright, here's a little story for you. One that still haunts me to this day. Asterisk, picture this asterisk, I'm at a yard sale about 5 years ago, and I spot this old jar of pennies for sale. And when I say old, I mean this thing looked like it had been collecting dust since before Wi-Fi existed. Anyway, it's priced at $5, and I'm like, why not? So I take it home, dump out the jar, and start sifting through. Lo and behold, I find a 1965 penny with no mint mark. I'm feeling like Indiana Jones at this point, thinking, this is it. I'm gonna be rich. But after taking a closer look, I realized it was pretty beat up, and after having it checked out, it was only worth a couple of bucks. Hey, you win some, you lose some. But the moral of the story? Don't sleep on those old coins. You never know when you'll hit the jackpot, so what's the takeaway here? The 1965 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a rare gem, and while not every one of them will be worth millions, you never know what treasures might be hiding in your change jar. Remember, condition is key, and if you think you've got something special, get it graded. And who knows? Maybe you'll be the next person cashing in on $1 million penny. Wouldn't that be something? You heard that right. $2,800,000 for a little penny with no mint mark from 1968. And no, this isn't clickbait, this is real life. So if you've been tossing your pennies into a jar thinking they're worthless, you might want to rethink that strategy. Today, we're diving into the mystery of the 1968 no mint mark Lincoln cent, how it ended up being worth millions, and why you should never, ever, underestimate those tiny copper coins. Let's get into it. So, what's so special about the 1968 Lincoln cent? I mean, most of us probably have a bunch of these sitting at the bottom of our couch cushions, right? Well, here's the deal. The no mint mark part is the kicker. In 1968, pennies were being minted in 2 places, Philadelphia and San Francisco. The coins from San Francisco got an S mint mark, and those from Philly got nothing. Yup, if there's no letter on your penny, it means it was made in Philly. But wait, before you start rooting through your penny jar, hold up. Not every 1968 penny with no mint mark is worth millions. In fact, 99.9999% of them are worth exactly 1 cent. But there's a rare, tiny handful that were struck in a way that makes them incredibly valuable. We're talking about a unique error that makes these pennies collectors' holy grail. So, the rare 1968 no mint mark penny that's been making headlines was struck on a bronze planchet that shouldn't have been used at the time. Basically, it's a mint error, a beautiful, shiny mistake that collectors are willing to pay crazy money for. Now you're probably thinking, alright, But how does a penny end up worth $2.8 million? Well, it's all about rarity and demand. Coin collectors are like treasure hunters, always on the lookout for the rarest, most unusual coins. And when you mix an old coin, a minting mistake, and a whole lot of history, it creates a perfect storm for sky-high value. It's kinda like that time I found a vintage baseball card in my dad's attic. Thought I struck gold. Googled it. Turns out it was worth about $3, classic. But for those lucky few who stumble across a rare coin like this penny, they're looking at life-changing money. You might not be able to retire on my baseball card, but a $2.8 million penny? That's a whole different story. Okay, so you're probably eyeing your penny jar right now, wondering if you're sitting on a fortune. Here's what to look for. Like I said earlier, if it's got an S, it's from San Francisco, and that's not the penny you're looking for. But if there's no letter under the date, you're halfway there. Coin collectors are like picky art critics. They want pristine coins. If your penny looks like it's been through a couple of world wars and a washing machine, well, it's probably not worth millions. But if it's in great condition, we're talking mint or near mint, then you've got a better chance of it being valuable. Trust me, you don't want to eyeball this yourself. It's worth paying an expert to check out your coin, because the difference between worth a couple bucks and life-changing money is in the tiny, tiny details. You know, when I first heard about the 1968 no-mint mark penny, I got so excited that I went digging through every penny I could find. I was like a madman for a week, tearing through old jars, drawers, and even car seats. My friends were like, "What's with the penny obsession, man?" And I was like, "Hey, don't judge me, I might be sitting on millions here." Needless to say, I didn't find a $2.8 million penny. But I did find a quarter from 1983 that bought me a pack of gum. Still, I haven't given up hope. Every time I get change, I do a little victory dance when I see a penny from the 60s. Because who knows, right? One day I might strike copper gold. Alright, so the big takeaway? Don't sleep on your spare change. That jar of pennies you've been ignoring might just hold a $2.8 million payday. Keep an eye out for that 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, and remember, condition is key, rarity rules, and mistakes from the mint can mean massive money in your pocket. If you want more tips on finding valuable coins or learning strategies to turn your spare change into a mini fortune, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next big coin tip. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one flipping a penny for millions. Have you ever dug through your pocket change and wondered if you were holding onto a small fortune? Well, today, we're talking about a penny that's not just your average 1-cent piece. We're diving into the fascinating world of the 1969 mint mark Lincoln penny, an ordinary-looking coin that could be worth a whopping $2.7 million. Yeah, you heard that right. It's not a typo, it's a true treasure. So stick around because this isn't just a tale of a penny, it's a journey into coin collecting that you won't want to miss. Now, before you start rummaging through your couch cushions looking for change, let's get into what makes the 1969 Lincoln penny so special. This little beauty was produced at the Denver Mint, and was one of the last pennies struck before the U.S. moved to using copper-plated zinc in its coins. But what really sets this penny apart is the infamous double die error. Picture this, it's 1969, and the world is grooving to some epic tunes, people are walking on the moon, and someone at the mint is like, "Oops. I think I just double-stamped this penny." I mean, can you imagine being the mint employee? "Hey boss. I think I might have had one too many cups of coffee this morning." Anyway, this double die error results in the word liberty being, well, a bit more liberal than intended. If you're lucky enough to find one of these in circulation, you could be sitting on a gold mine, or at least a shiny penny worth millions. Now, you might be wondering, how on earth does a penny go from "I need change for $1" to "I could buy a car with this"? Well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. There are a few examples of this penny that have sold for astronomical amounts, with one particularly pristine specimen snagging $2.7 million at auction. Talk about a penny for your thoughts, right? I remember when I first got into coin collecting. I was at my grandma's house, and we were going through her old change jar, which was basically a treasure chest to me. I found a 1968 penny and was convinced I was a millionaire. I had visions of myself lounging on a beach with my own personal piña colada. Spoiler alert, it was worth a whopping 2 cents, if that. But that's the beauty of collecting. It's not just about the value, but the thrill of the hunt and the stories behind the coins. So, how do you spot this golden nugget, or should I say copper nugget? First, check the mint mark. If you see a D just below Lincoln's shoulder, you're halfway there. Then, examine the lettering closely. If it looks like someone got a little too excited with the stamping, congratulations. You might just have a valuable piece of history on your hands. And for all you budding collectors out there, here are a few tips to get started. 1. Keep your eyes peeled. Check your change. 2. Use a magnifying glass for those tiny details. You'll look super fancy doing it. 3. Don't just focus on pennies. There's a whole world of coins out there. And remember, even if you don't strike it rich, it's all about the journey. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the 1969 D Lincoln penny is a great example of how something seemingly mundane can hold immense value. If you find one, or if you just want to share your own coin stories, drop them in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could be worth big bucks, plus some humor along the way, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Join our coin-loving community where we share tips, tricks, and tales that could help you turn your spare change into something extraordinary. I'm here to tell you that sometimes, it really can. And I'm not just talking about the fortune of finding a quarter in your couch cushions. Nope, we're diving into the incredible world of the 1976 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny, which is currently valued at a whopping $2.5 million. Yes, you heard that right, million. Stick around, because I'm going to give you the lowdown on this rare gem, share a funny story from my own coin hunting adventures, and maybe even inspire you to dig through your piggy banks. Let's go! So, what makes the 1976 D penny so special? Well, first off, it's important to know that this penny was minted to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the United States. That's right. While you were busy having parties and cooking hot dogs on the 4th of July, the U.S. Mint was busy making some history of its own. But here's where it gets interesting. During the minting process, a tiny batch of these pennies ended up with a double die error, which means they were stamped twice. It's like the mint was feeling a bit extra that day. Kinda like I do when I go for a second helping of dessert. Who knew a little extra stamp action could lead to such big bucks? Now let's talk value. Most 1976 D pennies are worth about 1 cent, shocking, right? But the ones with that rare double die error? Those bad boys can sell for around $2.5 million. Pauses for effect. Imagine finding one of those in your change jar. It's like winning the lottery, but without the annoying commercials or waiting in line. Let me tell you, I once found an old penny in my couch cushions. I thought I struck gold. I ran to my friend's house, waving it like I had found the Holy Grail, only to find out it was from 1977. Talk about a buzzkill. So, how do you know if you've got the $1 million penny in your hands? Here's a quick checklist. It should be on the bottom right of Lincoln's bust. Point 2, it should clearly say 1976. This is the big one. Inspect Lincoln's face and the words Liberty and In God We Trust for any doubling. If it looks like Lincoln had a rough morning and forgot to get his coffee, you might have a winner. And remember, folks, don't just toss those pennies aside. Even if they look like they've been through the ringer, they might surprise you. Just like my uncle who showed up to Thanksgiving wearing a Hawaiian shirt, unexpected but definitely memorable. So, if you're diving into your change jar or scouring the depths of your couch, keep an eye out for that 1976 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. You never know when you might stumble upon a small piece of history worth millions. Smiling, and remember, the world of coins is vast and full of surprises, so don't stop searching. Have you ever stared at a penny and thought, this little piece of copper could be worth a fortune? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the world of the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. Yes, the one that's worth a whopping $2.3 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2.3 million. I mean, that's enough to buy a small island or at least a very fancy pizza. So, whether you're just rummaging through your piggy bank or you've got a whole treasure chest in your attic, stick around, because I'm about to turn you into a penny-picking pro. Alright, let's jump right into it. The 1980 no-mint mark penny isn't just your average penny. Minted in the United States, this little guy doesn't have a mint mark, which means it was made in Philadelphia. Now, you might be thinking, so what? It's just a penny. But hold on to your seats. This penny is a key player in the world of numismatics. Here's the scoop. In 1980, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies, but only a handful of those were stamped without a mint mark. And guess what? Coin collectors and investors went bananas when they realized how rare these bad boys are. But what makes it worth so much? Well, rarity plus demand equals high value. Collectors are willing to pay big bucks for pennies that are scarce, and with only a few hundred believed to be in existence, this penny has become a unicorn in the coin world, magical, elusive, and super valuable. You know, this reminds me of a time I was cleaning out my grandmother's old jewelry box. I found a bunch of old coins and thought, hey, I'm rich. Turns out, they were just a bunch of old nickels and dimes. I even found a rusty penny that looked like it had seen better days, probably a victim of the Great Car Wash disaster of 1995. But imagine if I had found this penny instead. I'd be living the high life, sipping cocktails on my private island. Now, back to the 1980 no-mint mark penny. If you think you've got one, check for these features. First, it should have no mint mark, and the design should be the classic Lincoln profile. But remember, just because it's a 1980 penny doesn't mean it's valuable. The condition is crucial. If it's all scratched up and tarnished, it might not be worth a fortune, unless, of course, you're a fan of artfully distressed coins. You're looking for one in excellent condition, preferably graded by professionals. Coins graded from MS-65 and up can fetch prices that will make your head spin, especially if you get it in a nice protective case. And you better believe it's going to be an adventure finding someone who'll pay you that $2.3 million. But hey, if you do, don't forget to invite me to the launch party for your new yacht. So, there you have it. The 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny is more than just pocket change. It's a potential treasure waiting to be discovered. Next time you dig through your change, keep your eyes peeled. You never know, you might just stumble upon your own $1 million penny. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and all things numismatic. Join our community of coin lovers and treasure hunters. What if I found a rare penny worth a fortune? Well, today we're talking about one particular penny that can actually make you richer than a lot of us ever dreamed. Yep, I'm talking about the infamous 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, which can fetch a whopping $2.2 million. That's right, $2.2 million. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just be hunting through your change instead of binge-watching that new series. First things first, let's break this down. You might be thinking, a penny? Really? But this isn't just any penny. The 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is like that friend who shows up at a party uninvited and suddenly everyone wants to hang out with them. It was minted without a mint mark, which is pretty unusual for that year. Most pennies have a little P or D, indicating where they were made, but this particular one just slipped through the cracks. So, what's the deal with this penny? Well, when you find one in excellent condition, you're looking at a collector's dream. The rarity, combined with the fact that Lincoln pennies are popular among numismatists, drives the price up faster than my heart rate when I'm in a haunted house. Now I know some of you might be saying, but I have a jar full of pennies. How do I even know if I have this golden ticket? Great question. Here's the scoop. If you find a 1981 penny without a mint mark, check the condition. If it's an uncirculated or nearly uncirculated condition, You might just be holding on to something that could buy you a new car, or at least a really nice bicycle. But let me share a little story. A couple of years ago, I was sorting through a bag of old coins my grandmother left me. I was just looking for that sweet, sweet nostalgia, maybe a little bit of silver, but then, lo and behold, I found a 1981 penny without a mint mark. My heart raced like I was in a marathon. I thought, this could be it. Turns out, it was just a regular penny in terrible shape. But hey, it made for a great story, and I learned a lot in the process. So, how can you tell if your penny is worth more than its face value? Here's a quick checklist. Check the reverse side of the penny. If it's missing and it's from 1981, you're in the game. Is it shiny and new, or is it covered in gunk from your pocket? The better the condition, the more valuable it is. If you think you might have a winner, consider getting it graded by a professional. A good grading can significantly boost the value. As we dive deeper into the world of rare coins, remember that not all pennies are created equal. Just because it's a penny doesn't mean it's worthless. Some are little golden nuggets waiting to be discovered, so what's the takeaway? Keep an eye out for those 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies, because you could be sitting on a small fortune. Or at least, a story that'll make your friends jealous. Just imagine telling them about that time you almost became a millionaire over a penny. Well, if you've got a 1985 mint mark Lincoln penny lying around, you might just be holding a tiny treasure worth a whopping $2 million. Yep, you heard me right. $2 million. That's not just pocket change, that's a down payment on a house, a fancy car, or an all-you-can-eat buffet for life. Now, before you dive headfirst into your couch cushions, let's talk about why this little copper coin is so valuable and what you need to look out for. Spoiler alert, it's not because it's got Lincoln's face on it, though let's be honest, he did have a great beard. Alright, let's break it down. The 1985 mint mark penny was produced by the Denver Mint, and generally, they're pretty common. You can find them in rolls of pennies at your local bank or lurking in your piggy bank. But here's the kicker, only a few of them were made with a special error. That's right. Some of these bad boys came out with a double die error, meaning the design was stamped twice, creating a ghosting effect on Lincoln's portrait. It's like Lincoln wanted to give us a wink and a nod. Talk about a charismatic guy. Now, the real question is, how do you know if your penny is one of the rare ones? Well, it's not like you can just squint at it from across the room and say, aha! Double die! Nope, you're gonna need some good lighting and a magnifying glass. Imagine me, back in college, like a coin sleuth in my dorm room. I was scouring through change like I was on an episode of Hoarder's Coin Edition. I had a pile of pennies the size of a small mountain. My roommate walked in and said, "What are you doing?" I replied, "Just trying to find $1 million in change." He thought I'd lost it, probably because I had. But the truth is, it's a fun little adventure, and you never know what you might find. So, if you've got a 1985 mint mark penny, check it out under a good light. Look for that doubling on the date and the lettering. If you see it, congrats! You're sitting on a $2 million coin, but hold on. If you're looking for that exact value, make sure to do your research. Prices fluctuate like my weight during the holidays. Factors like condition, demand, and even who's buying can all play a part in how much your penny could actually sell for. So, don't rush to list it on eBay just yet. And hey, if you think you might have found one, consider getting it graded by a professional. It's like sending your coin to Coin College, very prestigious. So there you have it, folks. The 1985 mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth $2 million if you've got the rare double die era version. It's a fun and exciting world out there in coin collecting, and who knows? You might just strike gold, well, bronze, without even leaving your home. If you enjoyed this little treasure hunt, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our community for more tips on finding coins that are worth money. Who knows what else you might discover in your change? Until next time, happy hunting, and may your pennies always bring you fortune.